Two gorgeous green textured dial dress watches enter the ring, both coming from the Godzilla-like Japanese watch companies of Citizen and Seiko. Both beautiful in their own respect, but only one can come out the victor. Only one will remain in the collection and obtain its rightful place in the coveted box of watches. Who will it be? We're about to find out. Let the battle begin! Welcome to the Town Watch. I'm glad you're here. My name is Josh Town, and yes, you heard me correctly. One of these two watches is going to remain in my collection, and one is going to be excommunicated, banished, never to be seen again, and it's all based upon today's video, this head-to-head comparison. There's 10 categories that we're going to look at and put these watches through their paces. The first is dimensions, there's movement, finishing, crystal, crown, strap and clasp, dial, legibility, price, value, availability, and overall beauty. There's 10 points that we're going to score each category with, and there's a possible perfect score of 100 if each category was scored as a 10. So that's the head-to-head, that's the comparison for today's video, and whoever comes out on top will remain and stay in my watch box, and the other I'm going to get rid of. So without further ado, like the video, and let's see who will come out victorious. The first category is dimensions, and as you see these two watches side by side, and you see the dimensions listed, you see they're very, very close. And honestly, both of these watches, in my opinion, are a little bit large for dress watches. I would have liked to have seen both of them smaller, but because the Seiko Presage is slightly smaller than the Citizen, especially considering the smaller lug-to-lug distance, I give 7 to Seiko and 6 to Citizen in this category. Next is the movement category. Both of these also are very similar to one another here. The Citizen has better power reserve and is decorated a little bit better in my opinion, though I do like the rotor on the Seiko better than on the Citizen. The winding action is also something I considered. Listen. I prefer the clicky sound and feel of the Seiko over the sandy feel of the Citizen. Considering all of this, the movement category was a toss-up, and I gave 7s to both. Next category is finishing. Both are finished nicely, but both are finished differently in that the Seiko is all polished, whereas the Citizen has a mix of brushed and polished surfaces. Although the brushing is done very well on the Citizen, I give Seiko 8 and Citizen 7 simply because I feel that a fully polished case is more in line with what a dress watch should be. The crystal category. Both crystals are domed and protrude out of their cases substantially and are almost identical in shape and appearance, but let me take this opportunity to put both Seiko and Citizen on blast, as the kids say. These watches should have sapphire crystals at this price point. Get with the times, Seiko. Come on, Citizen, get your stuff together. You can do better than this. Give us sapphire in your watches and don't raise the price. Come on. Honestly, I wanted to give 0s to both watches, but I decided to give each a 5 in this crystal category. If one of these watches just had sapphire, they would have dominated this segment. Moving to the crown category. This was kind of a tough one for me. I like both of these crowns. They're both similar in shape with that diamond style. The Seiko crown is slightly larger and it's signed and is somewhat easier to wind, but in the end I prefer the Citizen crown for a couple of reasons. I think it looks better when it's pushed in place and hugs the case nicely as opposed to the Seiko. Plus, I like the crown design better with the wider and more diamond-like cutouts. So I give Citizen 8 on the crown and Seiko 7. Next is the strap and clasp category. Both straps are comfortable and well made. I really enjoy both shades of brown, and I think each is paired nicely with the watches themselves. I do have to say that the Seiko is a calfskin leather, whereas the Citizen is just genuine leather, and the Presage strap feels more supple and a little more refined. Both feature polished deployant clasps. Each is signed, but the Citizen is a butterfly style. Neither is difficult to operate, but I found myself preferring the Seiko clasp over the Citizen, just a little easier to use, and I give a 9 to Seiko and 8 to Citizen here. The dials. What can we say about the dials? This is really the main event. There is a lot we can talk about here as we compare these two in the dial arena, and I must say that there are certain aspects of each that I prefer more than the other, but I think one edges out the other in this category. First, let me say, I think both could do without the date function and look even more beautiful and more symmetrical, but Seiko has the better date because I think it's larger, as you can see, and more legible because it is larger. I think both applied company names are done well, but Citizens could have been slightly larger. Both handsets are very nice, but Seiko takes the second hand up a notch with that eye of a needle counterbalance and by also doing it in a gold color. I love that. Regarding the applied indices, I actually prefer Citizens here. I love their shape and finishing with the brushed tops and polished facets. They're really beautiful. Now don't get me wrong, the Seikos are nice, but I'm loving the Citizen's indices on this watch. Before we talk about the texturing of the dials, let's talk about the actual color. Both are obviously green, but different shades and different sheens. The Citizen has more of a matte feel and a shade of green that reminds me of like dark green, almost bluish ocean water, whereas the Seiko has more of a glossy finish and the shade of green reminds me of evergreen trees. If I had to choose based on color alone, the Seiko would come out on top for me. So what about the texturing of the dials? While both are cool and special in their own way, I think Seiko outshines the Citizen with its sunray pattern. It's so gorgeous to look at, especially in person, and to see it change from dark to light as you move the watch around. I love the Presage sunray dial. But kudos goes to Citizen as well for using a texture pattern that is unique and I haven't seen anywhere else. So for the dial category, I give the Seiko Presage a nice 9 and the Citizen Kuroshio an 8. Related to the dial and very important to consider is legibility. In lighted conditions, both are equally legible, but one shines better at night because it incorporates lume. Although lume is not really expected on a dress watch, if done in a way that isn't over the top, it can be an added bonus. So because the Citizen incorporated lume and is therefore legible at night, I give it an 8 and the Seiko a 7. The next category covers price, value, and availability. Both of these watches are not cheap, and for most they wouldn't be considered expensive. Honestly, I see both of these watches as being pretty good value for money. The Presage is probably more readily available, seeing the Citizen is a limited edition in each of the dial colors. But generally speaking, I think you can find the Citizen on eBay for high 300s, but mostly into the 400s. And you can find the Seiko for around the 350 range on average, depending on the model you're looking for. In the end, Seiko comes out on top here. I give Seiko a 7 and Citizen a 6. The final category, last but not least, is overall beauty. Both are beautiful, no doubt, elegant, and finished well, but for me, the Seiko Presage, especially this green dial version, is the more beautiful watch in my opinion. So I score this category 9 for the Seiko and 8 for the Citizen. So that is all 10 categories: dimensions, movement, finishing, crystal, crown, strap and clasp, dial, legibility, price, value, availability, and overall beauty. If you've been doing the math as we've been going through, you probably already know who eked out the win, but it might be closer than you think. Drum roll, please. And the winner is, with a total score of 75 to 71, the Seiko Presage Mockingbird. So there you have it. The Seiko Presage comes out on top. You have to admit, though, that the Citizen Kuroshio put up a good fight. You can tell that he's been practicing in the dojo. He threw some good punches and some good kicks, but in the end, the Seiko came out and was revealed to be the sensei in this battle. Seiko Presage wins by a slight margin of 75 to 71. I have to tell you, honestly, in the beginning, before I even did this comparison, I wanted the Citizen to come out on top. I was rooting for the underdog. It seems like everybody has a Citizen Presage, and I just wanted to like the Citizen better. I wanted to add the Citizen to my collection, but now, since I've done the comparison, I've had these watches, I can see why so many people love the Seiko Presage. But what do you think? For me, the Seiko Presage is staying in my collection. Welcome to the collection, and goodbye to the Citizen Kuroshio. Do you agree with the outcome that I came to? Most of my estimations and scoring of the points was based on my personal opinion and preferences, so you might have different opinions. You might have different preferences. Do you think the Citizen comes out on top for you? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to talk with you down there. Did you enjoy the video today? I hope that you did, and if you did, hit the like button, smash it, stomp on it, throw a watch at it, and just give us a like. We'd really appreciate that. Share this video with a friend, and that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by to the Town Watch. We'll see you next time.